So we have a team. They're trying to build up from the ground up, getting out of the Eli Manning era. They have 17 million free up in cap space, and the first thing they do is draft the top of the line linemen. Yes, it's a premier pick, and I think players are expecting a bit more from a high-end talent, especially from offensive tackle Andrew Thomas. I was picked number 4 overall in the NFL draft. They did get some premiering steals so far to work up on that secondary from the hard, stuff that we have in our mouth coming from Eli Apple and his underwhelming performances he had over his 3 seasons as a New York Giant. They also picked up Devron Askadra Henry. Had an agreement with, of course, franchise tagging Leonard Williams, that was, of course, former tackle for the Jets. We have long snapper Casey Kreckler. We picked up regurgitating O-line free agent Austin Johnson. He's a D lineman. Eric Tomlinson is re-signed. We, of course, keep on Dion Lewis Dion Lewis. And Corey Coleman. We also picked up Nate Edner, even though we know how Nate Solder, and we got a backup QB from Colt McCoy. So I think they're working on that type of rotation. Of course, they give some veteranship to Daniel Jones that's still learning. He's a decent average patient pocket passer, and he can move up the ball better from a 1-3 record from the opening part of the season where Eli Manning was still getting sacked until after they already spit it on his starting record for the Giants after we forgot Geno Smith was playing football, to freaking why in the hell Daniel Jones started now. And when, they build it up more in their skill players. Not the most redeemable season from a great show up rookie's debut for Saquon Barkley, but what do you expect? The guy obviously shows his press. You saw him against Arizona. We saw some great games against him that they were still losing. Sterling Shepard hasn't been that much. James Bradbury, they lost Alec Ogletree. They lost their retainable depth. They still keep on a $15 million contract on Golden Tate, Kevin Zeller, Leonard Williams after the re-sign for an extra few years. And, of course, a really scary contract from Nate Solder when he didn't show up that much over the season. Pass blocking was a must-have. So obviously Andrew Thomas would be the pick for the Giants. Do I think that they pick smart? Yes. Do I think it was the most unpopular pick still? Yes. I think there were still better old lines out there. They picked up Xavier McKinney from Alabama in the 36th of the 4th pick of the NFL draft. Then they came around picking up Matt Pruitt to work on that tackle depth other than the guard. They wouldn't even get a guard until the 5th round. They would get Darnay Holmes from UCLA, then Cameron Brown as the 6th pick. Xavier McKinney has the power. I don't know much about Darnay Holmes, TJ Bronson. I looked at Chris Williamson, their first of their second, their third, 7th round pick next to TJ Bronson, a linebacker. Of course, they want them big South Carolina boys that play over to the backer position because all they do is recalibrate on the blitz. I hate seeing South Carolina play because it's like, we forgot that we have an offense. And then you don't see them win any important championships. And they picked up Ty Crowder because they forget that they have to use a pass rush, and that's what they were lacking for a majority of the season. They only picked up one secondary, that was Chris Williamson from Minnesota, that shows that he can be, he's one of the better NFL-ready players. They picked up only one edge rusher in Carter Coughlin, Andrew Thomas. Sorry, I want this Triple H in the early 2000s Triple H. All I do is chew gum in the middle of the conversation. But yeah. Other than that, I feel like they have all. This isn't the particular season where you think, oh, they're gonna win 6 games with this type of. No, not exactly, but I feel like they'll give a certain source of competition. to some how they were against Arizona. They let their second string halfback hit up 3 touchdowns. Their game against the Patriots, games where you thought they were gonna lose, you thought they were gonna lose, but at least show enough fight. Even though we know Daniel Jones' skill could at least calibrate to only 2 touchdowns, at least, or 3, if the other team is underachieving. I want to see more of Daniel Jones. I want to see him improve. He is a first-round pick from the previous draft, so we expect a bit more off a quarterback. So it's this forced optimism that we have to keep until he blows by until his sophomore season, and then his third season he's getting the fuck out of here if he doesn't show any source of improvement or at least some way of showing up, because it's more building power to a draft pick. I mean, and you can see how much if you underperform, you get the Josh Rosen treatment that you're complete underthought until we get a guy from Alabama, and we don't in Miami want to get through that Alabama stuff because history with Alabama quarterbacks. And I don't mind Tua. Different type of thrower, different type of passer. Average at itself. Of course, Miami would make the pick for Tua. Don't know if he's going to be that much of a Marcus Mariota, just like, I'm not saying that because he's also Polynesian. And, man, I already have underwhelming decisions on the Justin Herbert draft from the Chargers when they're looking for a quarterback over the era of Phillip Rivers. That was as depressing as the rest of the success rate for the now Los Angeles Chargers. And I want to go over the Chargers draft. I want to see the type of guys they have and the type of dudes they can, fit on their roster. I thought they would get more on the offensive side of the ball. They're missing out on more high caliber names. They wanted to focus more on the secondary. I understand that they barely had ball hawks. It felt like Landry could barely catch a football or even swat it out the air unless the receiver was, undersized. In my opinion, it felt bad. It really felt bad. Antonio Hamilton, we're not even going for the defense right now, and I really do hate the way this team plays at times, bro. Such a sluggish, simplistic pass first, and then they'll do play action. I know for Peyton Manning, they had to stick off the gun because, oh my god, if I go under center, I am dead. We forget Antoine Buffet is on the team, David Mayo. Alec Ogletree had a production season. With Jabril Peppers, he should stay on the roster. If he pulls up one breakout season, we're going to get somewhere. DeAndre Baker. Janoris Jenkins needs to leave. He needs to leave. Overstaying is welcome, and he has not been producing that much on the secondary standpoint. We're still getting beat, unlike the Jets that at least have that one kid that's like Sean Taylor if he was younger. Sam Beal, the defense is yet to be improved, and we know how defensively focused the New York Giants are than the Jets, that are more for a run strong pass rushing team. They picked up James Bradbury for some reason. Blake Martinez, the linebacker position, they picked up Tavin Lulu. I cannot say that for the life of me. Practically, it's some practical re-signings. I feel like some of these, I didn't understand when there were so many other quarterbacks on the market, especially when Andy Dalton and Cam Newton are available free agents right now. And the Giants are not taking up to that type of thing because Cam Newton has a character issue. I don't know why Andy Dalton isn't getting picked up when obviously teams like Patriots, the probably the Raiders, probably the Giants. Hell, the Jets need a quarterback that well. Sam Darnold isn't going to be sticking for like a fourth season or so. And if they are, I know damn well they're getting a backup quarterback for that guy. Because having Trevor Siemian, hell, I'd rather see Nate Sudfeld start for a game for the Jets than Sam Darnold chuck one 50-yard pass, and then he comes around throwing 3 picks in the next few drives. I really don't want to see Sam Darnold play football, and this has come from the heart. But that's practically the off season. We are like over a week done with the draft. At this case, in the Giants, they did particularly smart getting real blockers, getting edge rusher, 2 athletic, top of the line physical corners, so they can work on that secondary, and they're young and fast. So practically, one's a starter. A few are going to be in-depth roles, so they can stick up and try to get their spots, and they seem disciplined. I like the way the the Giants are actually trying to build up smart, other than going for the hype factor, getting away from the Ben McAdoo era, and practically one of the bigger winners in the draft, and they're playing it smart. I want to go over as well as the Bears draft and the Broncos, because those are the most talked to, and I'll do my Niners in a later date because we have the rest of the summer for going over the NFL until this thing blows over. This is a thing of the past. We're going up to the 2020 regular season. This DST show out.